Hi, my name's Peter Blake. I'm a second generation landscape gardener, a 12-year resident in Sarasota now, and president of Community Land Trust of Sarasota. We're a newly formed non-profit land trust, which I know might make us the new kids on the block, but quite often the new kids can bring a new perspective to things that maybe haven't been seen before. We at Community Land Trust of Sarasota are not here to judge or take over, but we are here intent on finding long-term, sustainable, financially based community solutions, and specifically preserving land for community use that goes past our present lives into the future of our children and their children's lives. We are here to leave an environmentally sustainable legacy of land acquisition and management designed for harmonizing the relationships between all levels of community and the lands we inhabit, along with ensuring responsible and moral growth of all of our present and future community needs. It is not by chance that we named our trust Community Land Trust of Sarasota. It is the community element that we believe anchors our intent and gives it real power. Our initiatives are a little different to others in that the use of the lands we acquire are strictly for community benefit and for our trust to implement designs like the one we have for the quad parcels, of which we have named Celery Fields Community Estate. It is a blend of private enterprise and environment, of community and business. The private enterprise components on your estate are biodynamic farm and plant nursery, bee colony, open air event arena, farm to table restaurant, a mid-size multi-use education conference facility, transitional eco-village for families and individuals who are suffering hardships, forested short-term accommodation in an eco-village cabins, Autobahn retreat eco-village with viewing towers, farm stall, parklands, public pavilion, all solar powered, and much more. As a non-profit, the capital created from these private enterprise components will go back into the community in the way of saving more land and creating more community-based initiatives. First and foremost of these future projects is the creation of the Celery Fields surrounding area into your community's own Sarasota Central Park. This park will begin with your western gateway of the 4 parcels Celery Fields Community Estate, north to Fruitville, east to Rosaire's Stables, and south to Palmer. Imagine going for a horse ride through a butterfly forest, not a garden, a butterfly forest, to have a picnic lunch on the grassy bank of a lake parkland, to name just one element of the park. Of course, this has to include big cat habitat. The purpose of securing this area is to protect the celery fields for perpetuity and nurture its growth into an even greater healthy, mature, and expanded, truly natural environment. One that will continue to become a model for this country and hopefully the world on how to harmonize and grow both residentially and environmentally. A consensus as at the public meeting was undoubtedly unanimous that there can be no industrialization of the Palmer quads. There's been many appeals, suggestions, requests, questions given and answered, and of course emotional and passionate expressions of love, anger, and frustrations. I sense some of the discussions are old ones that have been said many, many times before, and maybe not all heard. More than one of the suggestions given, which got a big applause, was that we should just leave the quads alone and do nothing to them. Unfortunately, it's now too late for the question of should we develop the quads, because it is inevitable that the quads will be developed. I think the fact that there have been 76 ideas and proposals given to the planning department of what should or could go on the parcels proves that most of us understand that already. That being said then, the next step is to investigate which of the proposals fulfills best use, which of them as comprehensively as possible is financially viable and addresses as many needs as possible that our community expressed at the meeting. There is a catch though, because to find best use, we have to define which perspective of best use we are looking at it from. Is it best use from a financial perspective? Is it best use from an economical perspective? Best use from a community perspective? Or best use from an environmental perspective? Ironically, and probably in contrast to other opinions, I feel the Commission did exactly the right thing when they engaged the Miami-based company to come and do an assessment of the quads area and try to determine the best use for it. I say right thing because knowing what you don't know and asking for more answers, help and data is a sign of wisdom. Watching the Commission meeting of October 2018 when this company's representative produced their findings was interesting. This event showed me this Commission may not be everything people make it out to be. As they said at the meeting, and I have since had collaborated, the Commissioners weren't satisfied there was enough detail or actions in our first presentation of proposals for them to make a truly informed decision on the quads. From that, they then took it further to the Miami company and then later to the planning department to get more data. This was a massive plus for us as a community. The point here, however, is that because this company were told to research from the perspective of financially best use for the county, their research was centered around either sale or industry. From their results, that were based primarily on financial, the Commission were actually not satisfied because their findings only showed industry or sale potentials and not enough community or environmental possibilities, as we the community had been asking for. From that, the Commission ordered staff to undergo this present research, through which we have been given this opportunity to again have a voice. If we look at best use from the perspective of economy, then the result would naturally be industry that creates jobs, taxes, residual revenue, etc. for the county. Notice no direct community or environmental benefits in this best use perspective. If we look at it from the perspective of community, then something like parks and recreational, sporting, educational, infrastructure, bus terminal, etc. would be the result. All of these, however, create an extra ongoing cost liability for the county also, which means ongoing outgoings and nothing really coming in from it to offset the expenses. From a business perspective, this is suicide. If we look at it from an environmental perspective, then we may come up with things like reforesting, parklands, more wetlands, rookeries, green spaces, etc. Again, this is a maintenance nightmare and another massive ongoing expense to the county. As good as this is from my landscaper regenerator perspective, from my business perspective, this is another financial disaster on its way to happening. From these perspectives, we may get a glimpse of the agendas going on at the county level of decision making. Regardless of the bad decisions we have seen, as was the case with the concrete plant proposal, for example, It seems to me that the fact that this commission has taken the county coffers from near bankrupt to financially viable shows me that their business perspective may well be the primary perspective they've been operating from. Being that our county coffers are now healthy again, I would ask that the Commission's community perspective now be increased to balance the business one. It's achieving this balance, after all, of both community and financial that we voted them in for, right? Now, having been a single parent of my teenage daughters, I know how I reacted to their demands on me, especially when they raised their voice, etc., and put their hands out for more money. Money I didn't have, by the way. All it created was resistance and conflict between us. Clear and calm dialogue always got a mutually beneficial result. Of course, honesty is the final ingredient that ensured success for all of us. Don't we all hit react and defense when anyone demands something from us? My point here is that maybe the county is not all anti-community as we may think, and maybe it is because they are looking at these parcels through their business perspective and it's not balanced yet with enough community one. Add to this that the proposals we have been presenting to them are going to cost the county more and more money. Then think about it from a business perspective and look at all our proposals and assess how much they will cost the county. Not just initial setups, but the long-term ongoing liability costs that has to be budgeted out into ours and our kids' future. This is where we believe our Celery Fields community estate design and its implementation by our Community Land Trust of Sarasota has some enticement power with the Commission, we hope. We are not asking the county to pay for anything, not now or the future. Our design intention is community-driven and formulated from multiple perspectives of economy, community, and environmental. It needs our community to get behind it, to give it the wings, to fly free of county limitations. Obviously, this is a massive undertaking and requires not just millions of dollars, but community effort and support, especially. The dollars can be found, I have no doubt of that, because our Community Land Trust design for the community estate is comprehensively encompassing a lot of our community needs. Our structure and mission is strong and with integrity, and our vision is inspiring and achievable. If you feel that we are trying to steal your thunder or taking proposals away from you, then think again. From this list of 76 great proposals coming from our community, which the county planners had submitted to them, your Community Land Trust of Sarasota's design of the Celery Fields community estate incorporates 32 of them within it. That's 45% of all the ideas and proposals collected from the community are included in our new Celery Fields community estate. Just that alone amplifies how much this design is for a truly community estate. This estate project is not another developer private enterprise. This is your community non-profit. How many of the other proposals achieve this? We're not only the new kids on the block, we are also the little guy with a big cause for you all. Now, to bring things back to present reality, our first mission is to secure the quads from the county and free the county from future burden so we can then co-create with them. Of course, we need help of all kinds, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. First and foremost, of importance to us though, is true community approval, alignment, and support. Just as closing down that concrete plant's progress into the quads only came about from the mobilizing and aligning of we the community, so too can we acquire and secure these quads for perpetuity from ever again being industrialized through an aligned and mobilized community. I invite you to go to our Facebook page, Celery Fields Community Estate, and check the videos of the design and the information we have available to date. It's still under construction and it will be continuously updated, of course. If you like what you see and feel, then give us a message and let's talk more and see how we can all help each other and make Sarasota Central Park a reality for the future adults and kids of Sarasota. With great appreciation, we thank you on behalf of Community Land Trust of Sarasota. We look forward to working together.